All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the House Environment and Transportation Committee voting session number 7. We'll go as far through this as we can, and if we have to come back after the second floor session, we will. Let's just listen up for the bells. So we are going to start with House Bill 716. Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That was voted favorable with amendment from the subcommittee. As amended, this is a departmental bill that makes changes to DHCD's administration of the statewide rental assistance voucher program. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 authorizes public housing agencies to administer the state program in accordance with local administration plan. It also restores the percentage of monthly adjustment gross income that a family is expected to pay under the state program. It also alters the method that DHCD uses to determine the amount of funding to distribute each public housing policy. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Amendments have moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments?
Bill is amended, Mr. Chair.
Bills moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 716? All in favor of House Bill 716 as amended, signify by saying aye. Aye. And wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. Okay, we will move on. Bill passes. We'll move on to House Bill 767.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 767 received a favorable with amendment from the subcommittee. And as amended, this bill establishes requirements once a court has issued a warrant of restitution in an action to failure to pay rent. A tenant holding over a breach of lease, as specified, include requirements related to notice of eviction and the reclamation of a tenant's property. Committee's amendments requires requires a landlord to provide a tenant electronic notice of the date of repossession by the sheriff if the landlord knows the email address or cell phone number of the tenant. It also requires the sheriff must execute a warrant of restitution in accordance with provisions of existing law that provides for the handling of pets that remain on the premises after an eviction. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Amendments have moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments? Okay, amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Bills moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 767? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. Because this is a favorable amendment, does anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Allen, Delegate Baylor, Delegate Foley, Delegate Lewis, Delegate Stein, and Delegate Healy.
Baylor, Allen, Foley, Lewis, Stein, and Healy, and Stewart.
Stewart. Everybody good? Okay, House Bill 1076, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1076 received a favorable with amendments from the subcommittee. The bill requires a landlord to provide a specified notice before entering a leased premises subject to limited exceptions. The committee amendments provide that a landlord may enter the leased premises if responding to a written request of a tenant, expands the time frame during which a landlord may enter the leased premises after providing written notice from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., reduces to 24 hours the amount of advance notice of entry that the landlord is required to provide a tenant. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion of the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. And opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Passed.
Bills amended.
Thank you.
Those moved and seconded. Discussion on House Bill 1076. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. And Delegate Morgan, can you just do me a favor and just try to lift your hand a little? It's just kind of hard to see. So yeah. Thank you. You know, you're not always with them, so I just want to make sure I'm getting you when you need to be gotten. Yeah. And does anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Ruth, Delegate Baylor. That's it. Delegate Healy. Delegate Healy. All right, so we are good there, and we will turn to House Bill 1239. Chair Holmes.
House Bill 1230.
I apologize. House Bill 1152.
Oh, I was going to roll with it, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, sorry.
House Bill 1151, Mr. Chair. 52. Boy, we are Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. House Bill 1152 received a favorable with amendment from the subcommittee. As amended, the bill requires that a landlord who owns and operates 5 or more individual dwelling units in the state to provide a link to the property's pet policy on the property's website, in digital advertising, and in any information provided for a residential rental search engine. A written copy of the summary of the pet policy must also be included in any rental application form. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 provides that the pet policy requirement apply only to a landlord who owns or operates 5 or more individual dwelling units, and makes clarifying changes about the posting of the advertising of the pet policy by the landlord. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Amendments moved. Second discussion of the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Bills moved. Second discussion on the bill. Delegate Jacobs.
So this is just a pet notice bill, is that correct?
That is correct.
Like a sticker, like on the back of the door and on the website,
Pet policy, on the rental policy.
when you rent a
That is
unit?
correct.
So just a notice?
Well, you have to tell the person who's renting the property what your pet policy is.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a notice.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. And just to clarify, it's not just in the agreement, it's also in their, sort of on their website and in some
In
other
advertising, right,
advertising locations.
If they have a website.
Yep. Okay, Delegate Naraki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Subcommittee Chair, did we, I can't recall, did we take care of the issue of like third-party sites? Like, you know, sometimes they
Yes.
scrape data and, you know, they could then, do we limit the liability for the landlord in this case?
We did precisely exactly that. The question that Delegate Naraki is asking is that sometimes landlords don't have the access to third-party websites that advertise the rental unit. That does not apply here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
The language, if you look at the reprint, Delegate Naraki, is by the landlord, appears in a few places. That's to make it clear it's that the landlord did it. Further questions on the bill? All in favor of House Bill 1152 as amended, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Otto. Delegate Baker. Interesting combination. Don't usually see that, but just that duo, but okay. Now we can get to House Bill. I'm sorry. Anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Terrassa, Delegate Ruth, Delegate Allen, Delegate Baylor, Delegate Guyton, and Delegate Healy. Great. Sorry, go ahead. You got it? Okay, we can move on now to House Bill 1239.
1239, House Bill 1239 has no amendments. Move the bill, Mr. Chair, House Bill 1239.
Second.
Bill's moving second. Any discussion on House Bill 1239?
I have a question.
Delegate Jacobs.
I wasn't in Housing Real Property Subcommittee, but in the part of the title, it says, some discriminatory housing practices may be committed without intent. I'm just trying to figure that out.
I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but let me go through a list real quick. Discrimination prohibited under state government article includes, among other things, refusing to sell or rent a dwelling after making a bona fide offer, refusing to negotiate the sale or rental dwelling, making dwelling otherwise unavailable, discriminating in terms of conditions of privilege of the sale or rental of a dwelling, discriminating to provision of services or facilities connected with sale or rental dwelling, and there's a couple other things, but not. For nonprofit, including the attempt to induce a person to sell or rent a dwelling, representations regarding the entry or proposed entry to a neighborhood or person of particular protected status.
I'm just trying to figure out how this deal with committed without intent, and that's in it, and I'm just trying to figure that out. What determines that?
Chair Holmes.
If there is in the legal definition of discrimination, there are certain criteria that is very specified there. What they're trying to get away from is if you don't have specific intent to discriminate, you're not being held liable. That's what the intent is.
And Delegate Jacobs, do you mind if I let counsel address your question as well? Ben?
Thank you. I think what
Delegate Jacobs is also asking about is about disparate impact theory, which is sort of the focus of the the additions that were made to this discrimination, existing law, the discrimination provision in the state government article. Basically, disparate impact is that if the policy is neutral, but is having a discriminatory effect, then that is what the Supreme Court, like settled case law, has determined to be discriminatory nonetheless. There's a burden shifting test that they apply to that, and that's also in the bill, but yeah.
This is what we would call codify existing practice in my old committee. Delegate Stewart.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say that. So the Fair Housing Act, as it's been interpreted by courts, already outlaws discriminatory effect without discriminatory intent. This just puts it in state law. They already have to comply with that. So there's nothing really is changing unless the federal government did something weird to the Fair Housing Act.
Additional discussion on the bill? Okay, all in favor of House Bill 1239 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. It's straight favorable, so no pile-on. We'll move on to House Bill 1167.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1167 received a favorable with amendments from the subcommittee. As amended, the bill modifies provisions that authorize a municipality or governed special taxing district within a portion of Maryland-Washington Region district in Montgomery County to impose additional or stricter residential building requirements as specified. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 narrows the scope of the bill to specified buildings, and the amendments also repeal provisions that limit the applicability to building zone for predominantly single-family residential use. And this is a local bill. Move the amendment, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments?
Move the bill
Amendments
as amended,
passed.
Mr. Chair.
Bills moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of House Bill 1167 as amended signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? The bill passes. It's a delegation bill, so no pile-on. House Bill 1443, Chair Healy.
Okay. House Bill 1443, the recommendation is favorable with amendment. As amended, the bill authorizes counties and municipalities to grant hiring and promotional preferences to an eligible veteran, the spouse of an eligible veteran who has a service-connected disability, the spouse of an eligible service member, or the surviving spouse of a deceased eligible veteran. Any such preference, if awarded, does not violate any state or local equal employment opportunity law. The bill further authorizes counties or municipalities that use selection tests to hire or promote employees to award 10 credit points on the test or their equivalent to those people. I would move the amendments. Before I do that, I wanted to make sure everybody understands that there was some question about whether they may or shall, and I made a decision after listening and speaking to the sponsor and several other people that we will go with may and make it a purely enabling law. So move the amendments.
Amendments moved and seconded. I know there was a lot of questions about this at our last voting session, so is everybody satisfied? Do we need everyone clear? Okay. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Any discussion on House Bill 1443? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? All right, bill passes. Does anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Guyton. Okay, House Bill 1195, Chair Healy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. This is a bi-county WSSC bill. The recommendation of the subcommittee is favorable with amendments. As amendments, the bill alters the membership, operations, and reporting requirement of the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission. The First Amendment is technical. The Second Amendment requires WSSC to report a long-range comprehensive financial plan and to update it every 5 years. It requires searchable website to include any documents relating to a bond rating received from a major crediting agency, data relating to the refund hearing board, and data relating to dispute resolving board. It also states the intent of the General Assembly that WSSC bill on a fixed periodic basis, such as monthly or quarterly, and without the use of estimated billing. It requires WSSC to comply with additional review and reporting requirements. Move the amendments.
Amendments are moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass. I'll move the
Bill is
bill.
Move favorable.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 1195? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition to this local bill? Okay, bill passes. We will turn to House Bill 18. Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 18 makes some technical changes to the existing noise monitoring pilot program in Montgomery County and Prince George's. Move the bill.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 18? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. Straight favorable, so no pile-on. We'll turn to House Bill 234. Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As amended, House Bill 234 received favorable with amendments, recommendation from the subcommittee, and as amended, the bill alters the penalty for the existing offense of causing the serious physical injury or death of a vulnerable individual to be imprisonment for up to 2 months or a fine of up to $2,000 or both. The subcommittee amendments add golf carts and unicycles and add a negligence element to the prohibited act. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. Any questions about golf carts? All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments? Okay, amendments pass.
Move the bill.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 234? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Does anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Vice Chair Boyce, Delegate Healy, and Delegate Lewis.
That's Boyce, Lewis, and Healy.
Everybody good? Okay, we will move on to House Bill 470. Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 470 received a favorable with amendments recommendation from the subcommittee. As amended, the bill adds civil liability for selling a registration plate cover and telling people that it's legal when it's not. It also removes the intentionality requirement for obscuring license plates, and it makes the enforcement of that provision a secondary offense for moving violations. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments? Okay, amendments pass.
Move the bill.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 470? And all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Vice Chair Boyce, Chair Holmes, Chair Stewart, Delegate Terrassa, Delegate Baylor, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Foley, Delegate Guyton, Delegate Lewis, and Delegate Stein.
Okay, I have Boyce, Holmes, Stewart, Terrassa, Baylor, Morgan, Foley, Guyton, Lewis, and Stein.
Everybody good? Okay, we'll turn to House Bill 475. Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 475 received a favorable with amendment recommendation from the subcommittee. As amended, it generally makes certain provisions within the transportation article applicable to all members of the uniformed services, thereby expanding eligibility for certain benefits. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of House Bill 475, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Does anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Ruth, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Guyton, Delegate Lewis, Delegate Stein, and Delegate Healy.
Okay, I have Ruth, Morgan, Guyton, Lewis, Stein, and Healy.
Everybody good? All right, House Bill 628, Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 628 received a favorable with amendment recommendation from the subcommittee. As amended, the bill requires SHA, when determining funding for the construction of sidewalks, to prioritize projects that are subject to a complete street policy or another similar Vision Zero program. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill.
Any discussion on House Bill 628? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Would anyone like to join Delegate Healy as a co-sponsor? Delegate Ruth, Delegate Ziegler, Delegate Foley, Delegate Lewis.
Ruth, Ziegler, Foley, Lewis.
Okay. Everybody good? All right, we'll move on to House Bill 644. Chair Stewart.
House Bill 644 received a favorable with amendment recommendation from the subcommittee. The amendment strike provision requiring additional signage, but as amended, the bill expands the authorization to install and utilize speed monitoring system in residential districts with a maximum posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour to all local jurisdictions. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and second. Discussion of the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed to the amendments?
Move
Okay,
the bill,
amendments
Mr. Chair.
pass. Bill's moved and seconded. I have a question about the bill, Delegate Stewart.
Yep.
How does this compare to our school zone camera program?
The school zone camera program already authorizes all counties to operate it.
Okay, so if I have an issue with a school zone camera in Montgomery County, I should go to Rockville, not to Annapolis?
Correct.
Okay. Any discussion on the bill? Delegate Naraki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. And certainly I appreciate my colleague from Baltimore County. We've had a few discussions about this particular bill over the years, so I won't get too far into it, but I felt like I had to say something, and certainly appreciate the intent. You know, we all want safe streets. I have several state highways in my district that are frankly not safe right now, and we're trying to do things to correct those. But my main reservation still continues to be that in Baltimore County, at least, there are 80,000 vehicles that have flags on their registrations because of speed camera tickets. It's a lot of people that are having difficulty, and Delegate Stewart has a bill that I think will help address this, but that's a lot of people that are having difficulty paying these speed camera violations. The data in Baltimore County at least appears to indicate that these folks that have these flags on their tickets seem to be in, and on their registrations seem to be in areas that frankly are some of the poorer communities in Baltimore County, like some of the areas that I represent in Baltimore County. So that's why I continue to be opposed to these kinds of legislation, because I often think it hurts the folks that can't afford to pay it the least. So I'll just leave it there. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for that.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of House Bill 644, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. Does anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Ruth, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Lewis, Delegate Stein, and Delegate Healy.
All right, I have Ruth, Morgan, Lewis, Stein, and Healy.
Okay, everybody good? All right, we'll move on to House Bill 915. Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 915 received a favorable with amendment recommendation from the subcommittee. The amendments strike the enforcement mechanism, and as amended, the bill requires each county and municipal automated traffic enforcement program to submit quarterly reports to the Division 0 coordinator with information regarding unsatisfied out-of-state automated enforcement citations. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion of the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye.
Move the bill.
Second.
Anyone opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass. I was just looking for a more excited aye, guys. All right, amendments pass. Bills moved and seconded. Any further discussion on House Bill 915? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Does anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Addison, Delegate Lewis.
Addison and Lewis.
Everybody good? All right, we'll move on to House Bill 1032. Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1032 also received a favorable with amendment recommendation from the subcommittee. The subcommittee amendments strike the proposed Montgomery County program and instead add Baltimore City and Montgomery County to the Prince George's County program. Move the amendments.
Any discussion of the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments? Okay, amendments pass.
Move the bill.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of House Bill 1032 as amended, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Delegation bill, so no pile-on. We are going to skip House Bill 1226 only because we're trying to reconcile it in a similar way to what we just did with 1032.
Does that amendment change it to more than just a delegation bill?
No.
No.
When you added Baltimore City and Prince George's
The previous
County?
bill has Montgomery and Baltimore City in it.
but they're just we combine two local bills into one bill.
Yeah.
So it's not a statewide bill and does not affect Somerset County.
Correct.
We have cameras.
Not on stop signs. If they do, they're against the law. So, House Bill 1371, Chair Stewart.
Yeah, I think Delegate Otto is snitching over here a little bit. House Bill 1371 received a straight favorable from the subcommittee. It authorizes MVA to enter into an agreement to facilitate the issuance, use, and verification of electronic credentials through a National Association of Motor Vehicle Agencies. Move the bill.
Second.
Bill's moved and seconded. Discussion on the bill. All in favor of House Bill 1371, signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. House Bill 1464, Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1464 received a straight favorable from the subcommittee. It establishes an alternative registration process for rental fleet vehicles and requires MVA to issue distinctive registration plates for rental vehicles registered under the alternative process. Move the bill.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 1464? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Naraki and Delegate Baker. Okay, we will move on to House Bill 178. Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 178 received a favorable with amendment recommendation from the subcommittee. As amended, the bill prohibits a person from stopping, standing, or parking a vehicle in a bike lane or bicycle path subject to certain exceptions. The subcommittee amendments establish exceptions to the prohibition, including for delivery trucks, and make the violation a civil violation. I'm going to move the amendments. I also have an amendment at the desk, Mr. Chair, but I'm going to move those amendments first.
Okay, amendments have been moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to the amendments? Okay, amendments passed.
Okay, I have an additional amendment at the desk, Mr. Chair. My additional amendment allows counties and cities, allows localities to implement laws that are more stringent than the bill. Move the amendment.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed to the amendment? Amendment passes.
Move the bill.
Second.
House Bill 178. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Okay, bill passes. We will move on to House Bill 747. Chair Stein.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to defer to Delegate Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The committee report is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill requires a landlord of a property that is served by an on-site wastewater system by January 1st, 2028, and before each new tenant occupies the property thereafter to ensure the system has been inspected and pumped out by a licensed individual as specified. Beginning January 1st, 2028, the bill also requires a contract for the sale of real property with an on-site wastewater system to include a provision requiring, as a condition of the sale, that the purchaser ensure the system has been inspected and pumped out by a licensed individual. Amendment number 1 makes technical changes. Amendment number 2 requires a landlord or owner of property to provide certain notice to a delegated approval authority when the inspection under the bill identifies a failing system. And amendment number 3 delays the termination date for certain provisions of law relating to property transfer inspection licenses by 2 years and makes corresponding changes to delay the implementation of licensing requirements under state board on-site wastewater professionals. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Amendments have been moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass. Those moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 747? Delegate Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got in my notes, because it's not my subcommittee, in the testimony, there was favorable with amendments, MDE, and unfavorable were the realtors. I'm just wondering if those issues were addressed.
Thank you for the promotion, Mr. Chair. Yes, they were. Those concerns were addressed.
All those were taken care of?
Chair Stein?
Chair Stein?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, the realtors were straight unfavorable, so I don't think they proposed any language, but MDE's concerns were addressed.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? House Bill 747. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate.
Is this for the bill or for the amendment?
This is for the bill. We did the amendments. Yeah, we did the amendments. Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. All right, bill passes. Anyone wish to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Ruth and Delegate Healy. Okay, House Bill 452, Chair Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill alters an existing prohibition against state funds being used to install or replace a permanent outdoor luminaire that does not meet specified criteria on the grounds of a state building or facility by including state parks and trails in the prohibition and exempting lighting used to illuminate the field of play at a sports facility. It also specifies that except for a luminaire installed or replaced by MDOT, a luminaire installed or replaced using state funds must meet certain requirements subject to existing waiver procedures. Finally, the bill requires the Maryland Green Building Council to update or develop related guidance and MDOT to conduct a review of its highway lighting practices. Amendments add language that the bill applies prospectively, may not be applied to interpreted to have any effect on or application to the purchase of any outdoor lighting fixtures for a project for which the design phase has been completed before the effective date of any guidance published in accordance with this bill. Move the amendments.
Amendments are moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Any opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass. Mr. Chair, did you guys consider it an amendment to name this Al Carr's Law? All right, we're low on time. All in favor of the bill signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition to House Bill 452? Okay, bill passes. We're gonna do, I'm sorry, did you want to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Ruth as a co-sponsor. Okay, we're gonna do one more bill and then we're gonna go. All right, House Bill 1193, Chair Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill, House Bill 1193, was referred by the subcommittee. It's favorable with amendment. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 requires counties and allows local municipalities to report specified permit data. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and second. All in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Any opposed to the amendments? Okay, I'll move the bill. And great. And any discussion? Delegate Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In consultation with Baltimore County and our colleagues there, there was a request to amend this bill so it makes it a quarterly requirement instead of monthly requirement. So if it's all right with the subcommittee chair, I move that we amend the bill to remove the monthly requirement and add a quarterly reporting requirement.
Second.
Amendments moved and seconded. Delegate Naraki. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to voice my support for Delegate Allen's amendment there. So thank you.
All in favor of the Allen Naraki amendment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Okay, can we amend this to be called Ryan's Law? All right, all in favor of House Bill 1193 as amended, signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Okay, bill passes. I also have one to withdraw, House Bill 1234. All in favor of withdrawing, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, that bill's been withdrawn. These final 3 bills we're going to roll onto tomorrow's voting list, so we'll get to them tomorrow. There will be, the Real Property Subcommittee is going to be meeting tonight after floor, so keep an ear out for that. And obviously, we're going to vote tomorrow, and we'll probably be voting Saturday morning. So keep flexible schedules. Thanks, everyone. See you on the floor.